You're listening to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, man? How are things up north?
All right, it's going good. We're getting more daylight,
Okay.
so it's good to stay out a little longer and get more things done while the
Right,
sun's
right.
up. And that just only means that it's getting warmer and we're approaching bike season as we know it.
Exactly. A little bit warmer anyway, because it's been it's been
Oh,
cold
it's
up
still
there.
cold, but
It's still cold up there. I've been
eventually we know it's gonna get warmer soon.
I don't know why I check the weather like almost every day, but I still check the weather. Yeah, it's just. I mean, not to say it's hot down here, but I think last night was in the 40s down here. But by today it's in the 70s, so it's not the same. You guys go up like 7 degrees, you know.
Yeah, I don't even think we're at 40. So
No, you're not. No, no, you're like 30, either 36 or 39 or something like that. Which it is what it is. It's New England. If you're there, you know how to dress warm and do everything you need to do to get through the process to get through the winter. Which is it's almost over because
yeah,
we're more than halfway through February and about 3 weeks to go before we spring ahead with the clocks. And I think spring is around the corner from there. So we got like you guys got like 3 weeks of cold left, give or take.
that's right.
So so with that said, I mean, this is the time of year when we all getting back to racing. I was fortunate enough to start a few weeks ago in one of the series I race at down here. But on the world stage, the big stage, we have World SuperBike starting in a few days, or by the time this episode comes out, we'll already be up and running. But nonetheless, how you feeling for that? Are you looking forward to World Superbike? Is there
Oh,
anyone from the test that they've had in Australia so far? Is there anyone that you want to put your money on yet?
uh, I wouldn't say put my money on yet, but I'm just so excited to see the season start, knowing that there's so many riders and on different manufacturers, and it's always good to see a new start in the new year.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to obviously seeing what Top Rack can do on the BMW. Uh, Obviously want to see what Bautista can do with extra weight. Jonathan Ray is on a new manufacturer, so it's gonna be very interesting. And I'm glad it's that way because, like MotoGP, everything is switching around with them as well. It's just this is kicking off first and just can't wait.
Gotcha.
And it approached it really fast. And we talked about January being a long month,
Right.
and we just couldn't wait to this to get popping. And where we are right now is for February 20th, so we're getting there really soon.
We're there pretty soon, and you mentioned the changes to riders and rules and stuff like that. So I mean, I it I mean I don't even know where to go because I mean is it the Lowe's brother on a Kawasaki because he's familiar with that bike. Um, I mean maybe Redden or Gerloff because those guys are familiar with their bikes as well, even though they may have newer production. But for the most part, right? I mean, a lot of people. I mean, you got the Remy Gardners of the world that's still on Yamaha and stuff like that. And I think one more rider there. I'll get his name eventually. That's on the. That's still on. He's still on the. Andrea Locatelli. He's still on the Yamaha as well. So these are the folks that they didn't change machinery, and they're not their first season in in World Superbike. So do you? I mean, they haven't been I mean, Scott Redden was when he was on Ducati and stuff like that, but they haven't been the favorite. I mean, do you think that this is their year for them to, you know, maybe get a couple of races up on the competition? You know what I'm saying? Maybe one of those guys can steal Phillip Island and maybe one of these other rounds because they're familiar or most familiar.
Yeah, the good thing is, excuse me, they got multiple races, so um, hopefully we don't see a sweep with one rider throughout the weekend. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think this is their year. I think um, with the support they have, I think they can pull it out.
Got you. So yeah.
You
So
know?
you think the favor is in riders who didn't change manufacturer or it's not their first year in World Superbike, right? And I shouldn't say anyone because I like um um I like the Honda guys, but I don't know if the Honda is there yet. So realistically, it's the Kawasaki guys, it's the BMW guy. Well, it's the Kawasaki guys and the Ducati guy. The only guy really that was running up front on the Yamaha was Top Rocker for the most part, really, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
and now he's at BMW. So
yeah.
I
So yes,
mean, his skill level, I think, will keep him up top. But yeah, like I don't think I don't know. Honda is Ioni on a Honda?
no, he's on a Ducati, so I feel like these
Mm,
top guys, are gonna get up to speed, but
I think they will.
I think the chances are more favorable in the beginning for return offenders or repeat offenders on manufacturers and with the same team and stuff like that because they still have settings from last year that realistically they don't have to change that much. We don't know what's going to happen overall with Alvaro on the weight that's added to his bike. Just to meet with regulations and stuff like that, and Inoni. I mean, I guess Petrucci might be the guy as well because he's been riding Ducati for a few years now in Motor America the year before and last year, obviously in World Superbike. So I think those guys may have a chance, but Bulaga and Sam Lowe's coming over to Ducati, and some as you mentioned, Andre Noni. I want from what we're seeing from the test in Australia, Top Rock set the fastest time on the BMW. So yeah, anything may be possible. But I do wonder if these other guys, like I mentioned before, are gonna do something. I guess we'll see over the weekend. But I think this is their time because if by the third round they're not up front, I don't know if they could if they're gonna be able to even get there.
I must say it is a big year for one of my favorite riders, Garrett Gerlach, same manufacturer, and he's probably got some extra skill sets or whatever. Hopefully, improved a lot from when Top Rat came over with all the testing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting for him to be at least top five, but to be front running, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
I
the skill level of the guys who've been there will still find their way in the front.
right, and I do feel like Ducati's going to run away with it. I mean, even if I'm pretty sure that Alvaro is going to figure out the weight situation relatively quickly, and if not, Nicola Bulaga has been doing very well in testing so far, and he was on a V2 last year, so I know different engine, but I think I'm a big Ducati guy. I don't think there's that much difference in probably feel between the V2 and the V4 as far as obviously the power, but as far as suspension and how the bike feels and stuff like that. I haven't ridden the V4R, but I've ridden other V4s. I have a couple of twins, and I like like to me, I've ridden enough Ducatis now that they kind of are similar. And if I jump on my Multistrada versus my 1198, yeah, I'm not gonna go as fast, but it's still I still pick the same lines and stuff like that. So I don't think it's gonna be that much of a difference for him. Andre Anoni, on the other hand, I mean, he was on Aprilia for a few years, and then he rode the V4 Ducati in MotoGP. So he might have a little bit of a leg up, but it's like you had mentioned early on, it's going to be interesting from the first race and probably even the first practice session, right? Because you know this is the more I don't diverse it's been as far as just riders changing, not necessarily skill set, but all the riders that are changing, riders that are coming in, and all that stuff. This is the shakeup, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. So I mean, I think we'll have a better idea after the weekend's over for sure. But it's going to be I'm going to be up.
Yeah, and not to mention like we talked about it before, we got the new rules. So like after the first race, whatever happens, the first nine riders with the fastest times, that's how they're gonna set up the grid.
Right.
And it's gonna be interesting. So, you know, they set it up this way, so I can't wait. I can't wait. I'll be up too.
There you go. There you go. And let's move over
I'd
to
be talking with you,
yeah, no doubt.
watch it.
Exactly right. You might have to go live and chop it up. I know. I will say before we move on to MotoGP, Anna Carrasco has moved back over to World Superbike in the in the 300 Super Sport class. So excited to see her still in the top classes. Obviously, I think most people would probably want to be in MotoGP over World Superbike. But it's at that level it's really tough, right? Because when you're 25, 24 riders, give or take, and even though you're finishing 20th, 20th, it doesn't mean you're a bad rider. You're just off by maybe a second and a half as far as qualifying. But you know how that goes. If you're in the back, it's harder to get up front, right? So
Oh yeah,
do you feel like she has a and she won the 300 Super Sport title already? I believe it was
yeah,
2018. So she's a champion
yeah.
already
That's
for
what
sure.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you think how you think she's going to fare coming back into World Super 300 Super Sport?
I honestly think she's just gonna fit right in. She's gonna get the welcome arms. Like you said, she was a champion in 2018, and she was a race winning in the past years 2019, 2020, 2021. So I guess she's it's an accomplished racer, I'd say,
Okay.
and for her to step back out in the same class, like it's not moving up or anything.
Right.
Think she'll fit right in and probably learn that. I mean, I don't know how much they've changed since she's gotten off the bike, but I think she'll do pretty well.
I think so. And
Especially she's a known name and
right.
with all her accomplishments. So
I wonder why. I mean, obviously, in World Superbike, she's in the class she's in. She's going to have more races than if she was to jump in the women's league. But I wonder why. I mean, I think it may be like two. I don't know exactly how many races they are in the 300 Super Sport class, but I believe it may be 8 or 10. So she'll definitely have more races in the 300 class, but if she joined the women's series, I mean, she might have got another title by the end of the season.
yes, it's also good to see diverse sport cultures and men and women. So it's good to see her coming back in. You wouldn't know with all the helmets on, but you know the numbers and all the good stuff.
Right, exactly, and that is, similar to football in that right that and when the helmet's on, you don't know what the riders look like, so that makes it difficult at times when you're on track. But if you're a fan, you're keeping track of who's who, right?
Exactly.
Um, all right, man. So let's move into MotoGP because that's happening as well. They have, I believe, it's their last test before in Qatar before the season opener. It's still going on. I don't know if it's 3 days or 2 days this time around. But from what I can tell so far, the cards are kind of lining up how we thought they would.
Exactly. Yep, Ducati and Petco. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a shootout. I'm sure everyone's still just figuring out. You know, just how like I want to go out there and fix like my left foot. I feel like always hangs down a little further than I wanted
Right,
to.
right.
So like I would try to like correct that and get up to speed. So we don't know when the lights go out. The adrenaline kicks in and you can't go backwards. So it's just push forward. You gotta be perfect as best you can, and so
But
we'll see if the Ducatis will be up there.
now think about this for what do you think the psyche is for those other riders, right? Because here's Pecco Bagnaia has gone back to back, and he comes in the last test of the season, and he's setting the fastest times, I believe, in both sessions. What does that do for Martin? I mean, I know Bezecchi probably kind of knows already because they train together. So he probably, I think the VR6 Academy probably have a better idea where their skill sets are. But for these other guys coming in now that are here, I mean, I know Mark Marquez probably doesn't care because he got titles, right? But the rest of those guys, they you got you have to kind of, I mean, you can't, I know you got to have a short memory and thick skin and all this stuff, but even for a hot second you got to be like, man, did he just set the fastest times both days in a row?
I mean, well, every rider gonna have a different mindset. So I would believe Martin's mindset is to stay on the bike, finish races. Um, Even if he's the pole king. So um Mark Marquez, he's he knows he'll finish top five, so he can afford to possibly lose a race because he's not going to finish nothing but top five. And those are good points,
Right.
so that'll keep him in a race too. I mean, their mindset when Pecco does a fast lap is just, all right, what can I do to get there, or where's my time? What's my time compared to his? And
Right.
I'm sure as long as it's under a second or half a second, like race.
I yeah
Just gotta draft or something.
Correct. Yeah, I think so, man. It's still hard. I mean, I think that Marquez is probably, I don't know if he's holding something close to the vest and not and doesn't want to get out there or anything like that. And from a little bit of clips I've seen from Martin, I don't want to say he looks worried, but he doesn't look relaxed. And Marquez look relaxed. Alex Marquez, from what I can tell, look relaxed. Even Luca Marini looks relaxed on his Honda and so forth.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I don't understand. Like, you're supposed to learn from your mistakes. Like Martin, come on, man. You gotta come into this season relaxed. You gotta come in with a relax. Like you said, I could see it. Luca looks so relaxed going to a new team, and he looks like he has no worries. I mean, like you said,
Exactly.
everyone has a different mindset. Even guys in the back of the pack, like Joan Mir, his mindset is probably finish.
Right.
Like, I have to finish, but he wants points and he wants to compete because he was a champion. So
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure a
can't
lot of other
forget that
riders just want to keep a contract
yeah,
as well.
he's a two-time world champion, Joanne Zarco. Are you talking Joanne Zarco? You said it was Mir. Sorry.
I said Joan Mir because
Yeah,
last year he
yeah.
he finished like 1 or 2 races. So
Yeah, I agree with you with Joan Mir. He definitely needs to finish some races. He seems to be struggling more on the Honda. Zarco seems to be pretty. I think he finished ninth or the day before. I'm not quite sure what he finished the second day. Uh, but yeah, I think that's there's a there again, and I can't. We know that Morbidelli's out, so but like the VR46 Academy guys look pretty relaxed going
yeah,
into this season, and all of them are on Ducati except for Luca, and like we said, he's looking comfortable. Marquez, the brothers are looking comfortable. I don't KTM. I you know I you know
I don't know what the improvements is yet.
yeah, I think they may have a little bit of worry as well. And the same thing with the Aprilia guys. Now, Aleix seems to have figured it out, but Vinales got that little worried look as well. And I know it's the beginning of the season and it's testing, and nothing won't happen until after the first round in Qatar, for sure. But like anything, any person, it's nice to know all your boxes are checked, and you just gotta just wait for the race to start, type of thing. Versus like, okay, we still gotta fix X, Y, and Z, and what you have to do, and that's your job, and it's like we all want to win every weekend, so they do have to fix those things, but. That little bit of mindset, could set a rider back, at least a few rounds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're all looking up to the winner. So yeah, what do we got to do to beat Pecco? I mean, we know Martin's a good fitter, and it's just they're saying, what do we got to do to beat Pecco? Obviously, it's take more risk. I look at it as like when we go club racing, and the fastest in my group, and he's maybe a second or two faster than me, and I'm just like, okay, what do I got to do to get to that time? Some settings, or just minor tweaks, but I would have to take more risks. And do I want to risk that?
Right.
Or do I want to just stay on the bike and finish? So who knows? I mean, they're professionals and they got the best crews around them. It's all about taking that extra risk, is to catch those guys at top. they're not making mistakes.
Yeah, so I watched a Ferrari movie over the weekend, and Enzo Ferrari was talking to his drivers, and is essentially, he's comparing his driver to another driver, and the only difference, because there was a straightaway and then a turn, and they were side by side, and who was going to brake first, right? And his driver, hit the brakes first, and he's like, that's the difference between certain drivers. We all know we're putting our lives on the lines. We all know this already. So when you're out there, you're either gonna crash, or you're gonna take the turn. You're not gonna just take your foot off the gas. That's unacceptable.
That's what that's a funny thing though, because like I like going down the straightaway side by side, where you're like, who's gonna break first? But sometimes the person who break first can get around you in that chicane. You got to take it right. So you got to be smart.
Correct. Or the
On
person on the outside can
who-
just go around you. so,
yeah.
so
But yeah, I like that's another adrenaline rush. Like, who's gonna break first? Like, oh, I got you.
yeah.
Or damn, he breaks late.
Right. Usually the person on the inside wins. Usually,
Yeah,
but it does come down to that. And at our level, like we say, we like to go home at the end of the weekend. We're not getting paid the big bucks that these guys are getting, and it's their full time job. It is their job to do that, to put their lives on the lines like that in competition. And even if, you can look at it in basketball or anything else. You hear about Kobe Bryant's work ethic and stuff like that, and what he put his body through. So yeah, he's going to deteriorate his body sooner than someone else who put less effort in. But you're not going to gain the same results as we're seeing.
that's that's true. So, I mean, but the thing is, you want to get the same or better results. So you gotta put the work in for
Yeah.
sure.
So it'll be interesting to see. Qatar's around the corner. I believe there's 21 rounds in MotoGP this year. 22.
Yeah, one got taken away. Your favorite track.